Welcome to Tiger Tracks, your home for the best of LSU athletics. And now your hosts, Jordy Hultberg and Bill Frankes.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of Tiger Tracks. He is Bill Frankes. I'm Jordy Hultberg. Hope you had a wonderful Easter holiday, but when we're back in the swing of things, it's spring break for LSU, but that doesn't mean that everybody's breaking. There's a lot of baseball going on, softball. We got lots of things to talk about today, including gymnastics, who advances out of the Ames, Iowa Regional, so they're right where they want to be.
Exactly. The Tigers have worked all season long to get to this point. The NCAA championship meet, which will be next weekend in Fort Worth, Texas, at the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex, where they've already competed once this year. They competed against Oklahoma early in the year, so it's an area that the Tigers are familiar with, and hopefully they can bring home that first national title. Well,
coming up on the show today, our good friend Ben McDonald, the Golden Spikes Award winner, the All-American, will join us. We'll talk all things baseball, including his general overview. Since he's a SEC Network analyst, he sees all the teams. How does he rank them? Where do the Tigers stand in that? And talk more about this current LSU team, which is riding a 5-game winning streak after beating UNO 11-2 on Tuesday night.
Exactly. And Ben, of course, has such great perspective, not only on LSU, but the entire country. He has done a marvelous job in analyzing the SEC, and I think we'll really get a great insight into what the SEC has to offer this year.
Softball keeps on keeping on. They're just rolling throughout the course of this season. It's been an unbelievable ride so far.
36-3. Wow. One of the big reasons is the leadoff hitter, A.J. Andrews. Will have a special feature about A.J. in today's show.
That and much, much more, all coming your way. Sit back and relax. This is Tiger Tracks on CST. Welcome back to Tiger Tracks here on CST alongside Bill Frankes. I am Jordy Hultberg. Time to talk some baseball. None better than our good friend, the All-American, the Golden Spikes Award winner, the Baltimore Oriole, now in this crazy business as a broadcaster for the SEC Network, our good friend Ben McDonald. Busy man, how are you?
Doing good. Glad to be back with you guys. But yeah, April's a busy time in college baseball, as you know.
You like that TV stuff?
Yeah, they've almost turned it into work now, you know. I mean, it's I was kind of dabbling, but now I'm awfully busy with the network coming. But I guess good is busy, you know.
I always like talking to you, not only from the LSU perspective of things, but you see the whole Southeastern Conference in general, and some surprises. Vanderbilt, as expected, very good.
Yes.
Texas A&M, pretty darn good. They're surprising to me. What is your overall consensus of the league?
Well, if you talk about A&M, of course, I mean, we talked a little bit about it. They lost their number 1 and 3 weekend rotation guys before SEC play even started, but yet they're still number 1 in the SEC in pitching. Grayson Long has stepped up there, Friday night guy. He's been on Kent, the soft throwing left. He's been really good on Sundays, and so they're really good. They're deep. When they get to, they got a couple bullpen guys on there that hadn't get up an earned run yet, pitched like 20 innings. So they're just deep throughout. And when you look at that lineup, I mean, Nick Banks has led the SEC all year long. They're freshman All-American last year. He's having a great year. Mitchell Now, their catcher, DH guys, having a great year. So they're physical. They can hit home runs. They can really pitch. They're good, you know. Vanderbilt is Vanderbilt again this year. I mean, you think Vanderbilt, you think pitching, and they have the pitching. I mean, Carson Fulmer's going to be a first-round pick. Here's their Friday night guy. Bueller, their Saturday guy. He's a first-round pick. And then they fill up Sunday by a kid by the name of Sheffield, who's a freshman, who was up to 97 on the radar gun on Sunday. So it's like a big league guy after big league guy. And you get to their bullpen, they're really good in that bullpen too. So there's not a weak spot in Vanderbilt either. They're really good. And I think LSU, you know, and of course you guys have seen them as much as I have, they're really solid too. So I think those three teams are the class of the SEC. Not to say anybody can't beat them. We saw what Kentucky did to LSU. Missouri's a great surprise. Missouri's already eclipsed their total win total last year, both overall and in the SEC. They're the second best pitching team in the SEC, the second best on defense. They've got some guys that can really pitch too. So they're a big surprise. And don't sleep on Florida. I don't think Florida's totally got it going yet. Their record's kind of 500 in SEC play, but don't be surprised if they don't make a pretty good push at things.
Ben, what are your impressions of LSU's lineup, the way they swing the bats this year? Number 2 in the nation in team batting average, a real veteran team, and it shows the way they swing it.
Absolutely. I mean, the recipe for success in college baseball the last few years has been veteran guys with a sprinkle of young talent. LSU, and we knew that coming in, lots of veteran guys in that lineup. We knew the pitching staff was going to be young. But I think after seeing everybody, I think LSU's lineup is the deepest lineup in college baseball that I've seen so far this year. And I think the stats prove it. If you look, I mean, sometimes 9 guys hitting 300 or better in that lineup. Nobody else has that. Most teams have 4 or 5 guys hitting 300 or better. LSU is deep throughout. There's a lot of guys that can win ball games for you. So I really like LSU's lineup. I think it's the best. I like LSU. When you talk about athleticism, I see Vanderbilt, who's really athletic, but I think LSU's a tick above, and A&M, who's really good, but more of a power team. I still like LSU's athleticism over A&M as well, you know, and so it's going to be a dogfight. I mean, it is what it is. I think you could very well see what happened last year. If you go back to last year, I always tell people, in the SECs like this, I said, Florida won the overall championship at 21-9. Ole Miss won the Western Division with 19-11. And then LSU, who finished 4th in conference play, wins a tournament championship. And then Vanderbilt, who, oh, by the way, finished 6th in the SEC. 6th best team in the SEC, won the national championship. And I think those 4 teams at the top of the SEC, you could very well see something like that happen again this year, depending on who's hot towards the end.
Yeah, Paul Maneri said you're only as good as your 7, 8, 9 hole hitter. LSU pretty good there.
Yeah, when you stick in Foster back there and he's doing what he's doing and he's batting 9 holes sometimes for you, they're pretty deep.
Okay. Exactly. And then Ben, of course, pitching, something that you're somewhat familiar with. Before we go to break, we just have about a minute or so, but Alex Lang, the impact he's made.
I mean, who saw this coming? I mean, we knew that he was good. We knew a lot about him, but I tell you what, from the first pitch that came out of his hand that we saw was 95 miles an hour to LSU. He's just been dominant. I mean, he leads the SEC in ERA, and he stepped on the mound with big-time stuff. And I knew he was good. I didn't think he was this good, but you know, not only has he been the best freshman in the country this year, you could make an argument that he's been the best pitcher at times. I mean, I go back to Carson Fulmer. You know, Fulmer struck out 12 his whole career. Lang's already struck out 13 twice.
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back with more from Ben McDonald here on Tiger Tracks on CST. The baseball. Does it affect the pitching that much and the hitting? We'll talk about that. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Tiger Tracks on CST is being brought to you by Capital One Bank, the official bank of all things Louisiana, and by Louisiana Propane Dealers. Get up to $1,200 in rebates on propane accessories. Find out how at louisianapropane.com.
promised, we are back. We continue our conversation here on Tiger Tracks with Ben McDonald, SEC Network, ESPN baseball analyst, does LSU games as well. We talked about all the great hitting going on with LSU. New baseballs.
Yeah.
Impact, how much effect?
Well, I mean, you guys have probably seen the numbers like I have. Homers are up 37%, which is what we needed. We needed more balls to fly the ballpark. I think it's great for the game. It's fair for, across college baseball with the home runs now, which is good. But what the interesting thing is, it hasn't related to more runs being scored.
Right.
Runs are only up 0.3, and batting averages are pretty much flat for what they were last year. Everybody says, well, how's that happening if you hit more home runs? Well, the reason is pitchers are striking out right at 11% more guys than they did last year. So now we bring in the big question, why are pitchers all of a sudden striking out more guys? Is it the baseballs?
Right.
You know, has the baseball benefited the hitter and the pitcher? Maybe it has. I think it's still too early to tell. I think for me, people are saying it's the baseball, but I've been asking all the pitching coaches and all the pitchers around the league when I do ball games, tell me about the baseball. And they say, hey, some guys say, I think it's a better ball. I can make it move a little more. Some guys are saying, I don't see any difference in it at all. Okay. Some guys don't like it. So I'm not getting a consistent thing. So now I started thinking, well, why are we striking out? And the only thing I can think of, I think it's several things. One is nobody's talking about the slot limits in the draft anymore. You can't draft a kid in the 10th round anymore, and he's an iffy kid, whether he's going to school or going to play pro ball, and offer him $5 million. Those days are over. So what's happening now is you're getting a better quality arm go to college now like it used to be. Now you take into factor, I think, of pitching coaches like an Alan Dunn, who's been a big league pitching coach. And so kids are coming to school, and now these kids are better than they were way back when I played. They're getting better coaching. They're getting guys that are teaching them advanced stuff. So now the pitching's better, the talent's better, and you bring it into a new baseball. And I think all those are factored into, I think the pitching overall in college baseball this year is just a little bit better for lots of reasons than it was last year. Now, I don't doubt the ball has had some effect on strikeouts, but I think just the pitching's better overall.
I like it. Okay.
And then you mentioned the draft, and of course that always brings to mind LSU players who were top prospects this year. We talk about the veteran lineup, guys like Bregman and Chinea, Stevenson, Laird, Foster, whom you mentioned. All those guys appear to have great upside. What are their prospects? What do you see for those guys?
Well, I mean, when you start in the outfield, you know, when you talk about Stevenson and Laird, I mean, as far as going to get it, I haven't seen any outfielders out there that are better right field, center field combination in all of college. They can really go. I think the arms are average for those guys as far as throwing, but they get to the ball so quickly they can make up for those kinds of things. Both of them have shown the ability of not a whole lot of pop, but being able to hit the ball really good the other way. So I think those guys will be, you know, obviously not early picks, but they're gonna be draftable. They're not coming back to LSU now. I'd be shocked if either one of them come back. Chinea, I don't know. You know, I don't know what happens. So I think for me, he's really fighting to find a position right now. Yeah. Is he a catcher? Is he a first baseman? Is he a DH? What is he? That question he's got. But he, as of late, is really swinging. I think he can hit a little bit. You know, Bregman's not coming back. Bregman, you know, we can talk about him all day. I saw Dansby Swanson for 3 games at Vanderbilt, and Dansby's really good too. But certainly Bregman and Dansby Swanson are the 2 best shortstops in the SEC, and probably the 2 best in the country. I mean, Bregman's made 1 error this year. And how many chances? I mean, that you just don't do that in college baseball. So he's a first rounder for sure, you know, too. So, I mean, LSU's got some talent. I mean, when you compare it to Vanderbilt, though, Vanderbilt's probably got 5 first rounders on their squad right now. Most of them are
5 first rounders?
I think so. Wow. Or gonna, not this year, but going to be. I think Sheffield's a freshman. He's going to be a first rounder.
I thought Calipari was talking about something.
Well, I compare Vanderbilt in a lot of ways to Kentucky's basketball team. I mean, it's not often you find 5 first-round picks or eventual first-round picks on one team in college baseball, but I think Vanderbilt has that. They're that talented on the mound, you know. Of course, Dansby Swanson will be a first-round pick too. So I mean, it's an exciting time. There's lots of good players out in college baseball these days. I'm talking about it. There's some talented kids.
Busy time of the year for you. You know, you still coaching kids?
Oh yeah. Still coaching my son Jace, 14-year-old team, and I'm missing them a good bit right now with the travel, but it's going to settle down a little bit later on. If I can get through April, everything starts to slow down a little bit.
I'm looking forward to the SEC tournament this year. You'll be out there and broadcasting the games.
First time I've been in many, many years, and we're going to be broadcasting games, and we're going to have a studio set up for the SEC network. So that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that because it's been a long time, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Get the ties ready.
Oh, yeah. I have to get my wife will have to pick out all my
starch on the shirts. Not heavy.
That's right.
It gets hot.
It's going to be hot. It's going to be hot out there that time of the year.
Ben, thank you so much, buddy. Continued great success.
Enjoy.
Always great seeing you.
Thank you.
All right, Ben McDonald here on Tiger Tracks. We'll take a quick time out, and when we come back, we got to feature A.J. Andrews.
Softball center fielder leading the Tigers to a 36-3 record.
We'll be back. Stay with us. Welcome back to Tiger Tracks here on CST. Now from the diamond to the circle, right? Yep. Softball, 36-3, back to number 1 in the nation. They kind of gave everybody else a break, and then they swept another one and back to number 1. What a remarkable season so far for Beth Torina and the Tigers.
Absolutely, and Beth's leadoff hitter is A.J. Andrews. Okay. She's a senior. We talked with Ben McDonald just a while ago about the value of veterans. Well, she's a veteran in the program. She's done a marvelous job. Garrett Walbert had a chance to speak to A.J. Andrews of the LSU softball squad.
Welcome to Nashville, Tennessee for the 2015 National Pro Fast Pitch College Draft. Tonight, 34 seniors realize their lifelong dream of playing professional softball, and it starts right now on CBS Sports Network.
The 7th overall pick is an outfielder from LSU, A.J. Andrews.
A little speed from Louisiana State University, number 2 in the country. Head coach Beth Torina, they love what Andrews brings to the table. She's 3rd on the Tigers in hitting this year. She leads the team in triples and has 11 multi-hit games here on the season.
A.J. Andrews, she glides through the field with the greatest of ease. It doesn't matter if she's tracking down a fly ball, finding a way on base, running the bases, scoring a run. She has extreme confidence at the Division I level.
LSU All-American A.J. Andrews joins a long line of former Tigers drafted by the National Pro Fast Pitch League. Andrews was chosen by the Chicago Bandits in the 2nd round and is the 7th LSU player selected since 2006. A.J. enjoyed sharing draft day with her teammates.
It was pretty nerve-wracking. I actually didn't think I'd feel nervous at all or anything like that, but it was nerve-wracking. It was really exciting, and to see my teammates' reactions I think was the best. I wanted to tear up, not even because I was drafted, just because of how excited they were for me. It was just really cool to see, and I really appreciated it.
You know, it's something that she's worked so hard and that, you know, she puts in so much time and effort into this sport. She's so charismatic, so driven, just inspires everybody, whether you're a pitcher, catcher, outfielder, infielder, whatever, to be a better person and a better player every single day. So we're so thrilled for her.
I mean, she's a true leader as far as by example as well as a vocal leader. She's always motivating us, always going her hardest for everything, and shows what a true teammate should be like.
Andrews has played all 4 seasons under Coach Torina, raising her batting average over 200 points since freshman year. The Florida native is known for her speed, stealing 90 bases in her career while making jaw-dropping plays in center field. Coach Torina knows just how driven Andrews is towards success.
Well, I think the Chicago Bandits got a great player, and I think she's going to do really well for them. I think she will allow nothing less from herself but to succeed at any level. She's one of the hardest workers I've ever had the pleasure to coach, and I think she's going to do a great job in the NPF.
Andrews is the highest drafted LSU player since Brittany Mack and Rachel Fico went number 1 overall in 2012 and 2013. AJ combined with that duo to drive the Tigers to the College World Series during Coach Torina's first season. Andrews scored the winning run by tagging up on an infield fly ball against USF, diving across home plate in dramatic fashion. AJ's excited to compete with the world's softball elite from the NPF.
Softball's growing so much in America, and I'm so excited about that. And I feel like if there's anything I could possibly do to make this be on a bigger scale and have the draft be something that's on ESPN, just like other sports. So it's really turned into something that's really, really big. Then I really want to take that there because, I mean, it's only helping everyone else and it's helping the sport that I love. And I think that if I can really put myself in a position to do that, that'd be awesome. So I love the fact that I got drafted for myself, but I really am excited about the things that I could potentially do for the sport.
Brittany Mack, starting with her, and then Fico, and now AJ. I mean, it just kind of shows how we're growing this program into something great, and that's going to move on to something even better and make our sport that much better overall.
I think she is going to be a great player in the league. I think she's going to be a fan favorite. I think her speed changes ball games, and I think she will continue to do that at any level. I think speed is speed, and she will continue to do that no matter where she is.
Well, okay, Garrett, thank you so much. The Lady Tigers, as we heard, travel to Tennessee, to Knoxville for another 3-game set.
Absolutely. And Jory, don't forget, May 6th through the 9th at Tiger Park, the SEC softball tournament for the first time at Tiger Park. All the SEC teams will be here. Should be a fantastic event. Tickets available right now at lsutix.net.
Got to go watch them play. When we return here to Tiger Tracks, always a great event. The Tigers taking on the UL Raging Cajuns in a victory, the Wally Pontiff Jr. Classic. We'll have a feature on that foundation when we return to Tiger Tracks.
Tiger Tracks on CST is being brought to you by Capital One Bank, the official bank of all things Louisiana, and by Louisiana Propane Dealers. Get up to $1,200 in rebates on propane accessories. Find out how at louisianapropane.com.
Welcome back to Tiger Tracks. Just recently, the LSU Tigers completed their 12th annual Wally Pontiff Jr. Foundation Classic, taking on the UL Raging Cajuns down at Zephyr Park. A great foundation, keeping the memory of Wally alive.
Absolutely. Wally Pontiff Sr. has done a marvelous job. Really, the whole family. Nick Pontiff, Wally's younger brother, also has been involved. And they do so much for so many charitable organizations throughout Louisiana. The game, of course, is a big part of that. Let's take a look at the Wally Pontiff Jr. Foundation Classic.
I need 2 medium.
1, 2.
We're very, very, very pleased and thankful for the outlandish support that we get both financially and from the amount of people that get to support Wally's memory. It's incredible, 13 years, and people still remember Wally and they still want to support the cause. If you go to wallypontiffjr.org, you can see some of the beneficiaries of who we donate to. We donate to various causes, baseball programs across the state, LSU being one of the major ones. But we also support local baseball communities such as Delgado and UNO and Loyola and such. We're also able to support one of our biggest projects that we just finished up was the Hall of Fame room, the Wally Pontiff Jr. Hall of Fame room in LSU. If you haven't been able to see that, it's incredible. It is one of the most incredible, like the D-Day Museum in New Orleans is incredible. I put it up to par with that. Obviously, it's not as heroic, but the amount of work that they put in, it's very tastefully done. we wanted to get a different program this year. We wanted to get ULL here, and thank God Coach Robichaux was willing enough to come in and support the cause as well. And, you know, they're a quality opponent. Last year they were 1 out away from going to the World Series. He always puts a quality product in the field. So, look, it's two of the biggest powers in Louisiana going head-to-head on one of our favorite games. This is the best memories I ever had in my life. I mean, even watching Wally when he was out here on the field was some of the best memories I ever had. So just having the ability to come out on the field again, and, you know, I know some of these guys, Will Davis and Nolan Kane, both coaches and administrative assistant on the staff, are my best friends. They played with me in 09 and 08 and the years before that. You get to rekindle some memories. You get to get those jitters back a little bit. You know, it's a beautiful night. We're so thankful.
And over 10,000 people showed up at Zephyr Park for that. So when I mentioned Wally Pontiff Jr., you were around him. You knew him as well as anyone. What comes to mind?
Just a first-class young man. Exactly what you would expect based upon the example set by his father, based upon the way his brother has carried on his legacy. Wally was just a great student, great ball player, very articulate, wonderful with the media, just a great ambassador for the program and for LSU. And certainly, it's hard to believe it's been almost 13 years since he passed away.
It's unbelievable.
He definitely has been missed, but wow, his memory lives on, and the wonderful legacy continues in this foundation.
No question about that. LSU and UL will meet again next year in the 13th annual Wally Pontiff Jr. Classic. But until then, LSU welcomes Auburn this weekend for a big 3-game set, softball on the road in Tennessee.
Exactly. LSU versus Auburn, Friday night at 7, Saturday at 6:30, Sunday at 1 o'clock.
Weather permitting, right?
Yes,
Always
exactly.
subject to change.
Exactly. So stay tuned, but we're hopeful that we'll get all 3 games in. I'm sure Coach Maneri will make it happen.
Spring break, you may move that Friday game early. You never know.
Yeah, exactly.
You never know.
Exactly.
All right. We'll be back again, same time, same station next week. For Bill Franquez, I'm Jordy Helper. Thanks so much for watching Tiger Tracks on CST.